Hey y'all, bring it on in. We need to talk about why so many moms are tolerating abuse from their own children. And I'm not just talking about the silent abuse, like the no contact or ghosting them or just not talking to them. I'm talking about some verbal, emotional, financial, and even physical abuse. And then I'm wondering, why are we so willing to tolerate this from our children? Because too many moms are out here suffering in silence, and some of them are even losing their lives. We are taught to endure this abuse, to pray it away, to pray for our children, to forgive them, to never give up on them. We're asked questions like, why didn't you spank them enough or beat them enough? Or have you taken them to therapy? All of this, what have you done to make the situation better? But here's the truth. Love should not cost us our dignity. It should not cost us our safety. And damn it, love shouldn't hurt. We don't talk about parental abuse enough, but it is happening every day, whether it's being talked about or not, and more than you know. But there's rarely any attention being brought to this subject, and there are for sure no protections against it. Every time I try to look up anything on parental abuse, it always leads back to child abuse. And I'm like, why are we not talking about that? Why is there not more information surrounding parental abuse? Because it is happening more and more every single day, whether they're talking about it or not. Moms are being cursed out. We've been called some of the most vulgar names. And I say we because I know all too well. And I've been called some of the most vulgar names by my youngest son. We've been manipulated. We've been lied on. We have been blamed for every ounce of our child's pain and treated like they're emotional punching bags. And we're just taking it because we've been brainwashed to believe, as a mom, you should. A lot of moms tolerate abuse because they're afraid of being judged. They don't want to lose their child completely. They believe it's their fault and they need to make it right. Or they think by enduring so much abuse from their child, this is going to make you a stronger mom, a better mom, or a more loving mom. But let's be clear, you're not helping your child nor yourself by accepting their abuse. In fact, you're enabling it. And that's the hard truth that nobody wants to say out loud. So let's talk about something real serious for a moment, and that is matricide, another topic that's very rarely discussed or mentioned or brought up. Matricide is when a child harms or even kills their own mother. And it's not just something you see on a Lifetime movie or in the news, because we don't see it in the news. It's happening more than people realize. Abuse starts with words like calling you a bitch, the words like saying fuck you, the words like calling you a whore, the words demeaning you, and they can escalate into physical. Disrespect that goes unchecked, it becomes very, very dangerous. I had a mom in my comments the other day, and she said her child had slapped her mom and slashed her arm with a knife, and she's 15 years old, and she's 15 years old. But she said, I love my baby and I just can't give up on her. And then I shared with her the story of a family friend who was murdered by her son some years ago. She tried to get help for him. She involved the authorities reluctantly. She had a security door installed on her bedroom to protect herself from her own child because she had become so afraid of him. Only her sister was there to support her, and we actually did a podcast episode on this last year. And she was the only support she had and the only person that would encourage her to protect herself. Like, get a bat, get some mace, go to the gun range. And I know moms don't want to hear that. And that's like, ooh, oh my God, that's so taboo. But this was her sister looking out for her sister and not just the child who her sister had become afraid of. And we as moms, we never want to think we would have to do that with our kids. We often think so emotionally and rarely think logically by saying stuff to ourselves like, this is my child who I love with all my heart. They would never hurt me, or they could never hurt me. But guess what? Her son did. He stabbed her to death while she was making coffee to head to work and then try to cover it up. And I too have experienced threats from my estranged son, threats to send people to our home to harm us, threats to harm my husband. And those who know me, they know I don't play about my husband at all. And threats to other family members as well. You must take abuse from your child seriously. Stop playing with yourself. Don't ignore these red flags just because your emotions are telling you you love that child so much and they could never harm you. Think about things like, do they have violent outbursts? Do they threaten you or your safety? Do you feel unsafe in your own home? Because I started to feel unsafe in my own home. I started to think that my child did not care about my safety. I remember working from home one day and he came home and he brought these two guys in my home. They could have been the nicest young men ever, but they didn't look very nice. And he knew damn well that I didn't just allow anybody to come into my home. It infuriated me that he did not consider my safety to bring these people into my home that I did not know. But I want y'all to know, when you are seeing these behaviors and you're experiencing this abuse, this is not just a phase. These threats, take them seriously. And you not taking that shit seriously could be life or death, and your life matters. So how do you stop tolerating abuse and start protecting yourself? Here's some ways to start reclaiming your peace as well. First and foremost, speak the hell up. Don't you dare deal with this alone in silence. So many moms don't want to be judged, and then when they do tell people they are judged, stop caring about that. Your safety matters, and you speaking up could be the very thing that saves your life. Set clear boundaries. Let them know what behaviors you will no longer tolerate. Say it once, say it firm, say it clear, and stand on business. And I know this is very hard for a lot of moms because you don't want to hurt your child's feelings, although they have said whatever the hell they wanted to say to you and they have threatened you. But if you don't set these clear boundaries and let them know you're no longer going to tolerate this type of behavior, especially starting at a younger age, you're never going to have respect for them. You go low or no contact if needed. If they continue to cause harm to you, it's okay to cut off communication. I know we are in this situation. A lot of you are being estranged from children, but I'm talking to the moms that are dealing with abuse right now. I'm not focused on the ones who are mourning because a child refused to talk to them. They don't know why. I'm talking about the women whose lives are at risk because they are not taking abuse from their child seriously. It's okay, like I said, to block someone. That doesn't mean you're petty. It doesn't mean you're a bad mom. It just means that you're protecting yourself. And document everything. And when I say everything, if you get text messages, threats, or incidents in any type of writing, document. Unlike some other moms, I believe in protecting myself and my home. And that is where my son has pushed me, where I have had to protect myself and protect my home. You may need this if things escalate. So keep those messages, keep records of those threats, write down when any incidents happen as well. And then you need to learn to prioritize your safety. If your child is physically aggressive or unstable, get yourself into a safe place until you can have them removed from your home if they live with you. I know some of them may be underage. If you have underage children, you need to reach out to the authorities or you need to reach out to someone from a legal perspective to see what you can do. And if you are a single mom, because let's talk about the fact that majority of the time this abuse is happening with single moms. Where are their dads? Where are their dads? Get them involved. Unfortunately, we also know that some of them have abandoned their children and some of them don't have any involvement. Hence why we're dealing with a lot of this shit in the first place. Because like I always say, the daddy decides to leave, but the mom that stay is the one that gets the mistreatment. But like I said, you need to pay attention. If your child is physically aggressive or unstable, you need to make sure that you put yourself in a position of safety, or you remove them from your home if they are of age and they live with you. Also, I know y'all may not want to hear this. File a restraining order or protective order and don't feel one bit of guilt about it. I have not filed a restraining order against my son, but I have definitely reported any incidents to the police, so they are on record. I just haven't filed a restraining order, but it does not mean that I will not file a restraining order. I had a mom also send me a direct message. She said that her son and his girlfriend, they were bullying her on social media, saying what they were going to do to her if they saw her, and all these things that kids get on social media and they love to talk. But she filed a protective order against them, and it wasn't her intention to destroy their lives or anything like that, and she actually had it removed. But I commended her for filing that restraining order, basically to cease and desist them making any threats or even mentioning her on any social media platforms. And again, don't feel guilty about it and stop funding abuse. And what do I mean by that? If they rely on you financially, all while disrespecting you, cut that off. Why are you paying to be mistreated? Who does that? Start healing. Talk to a therapist, a coach, join a support group. Journal your pain, name it, be honest about it, and then start to release it. Create a circle of support if you don't have one. You're not weak for needing help. Build your own support system. Of course, remain a part of the Mom's True Tea platform of women who understand what you're going through, because it is so hard when you're having these experiences and you're trying to talk to other moms or women that are in your sister circle, your friend circle, and they don't understand because that's not their experience, or they're judging you, or they're talking behind your back instead of helping you or giving you any type of support. And it's a painful, painful thing. So find like-minded women that are dealing with the same situation. And a lot of times you won't even know that because you're not talking about it. Because we're not talking about what is happening when it relates to abuse from our own children, nobody can support you because nobody knows what's going on. And last, get you some protection. I know y'all don't want to talk about that. I mentioned this earlier with the sister who told her sister to protect herself. Get you some protection, whatever that looks like. You hope that your child will never harm you or bring you to having to protect yourself in that manner. But the days that we are living in and the children that are coming up, adult children, teenage children who have no respect and honor, and they don't even have empathy. The switch of empathy is gone with a lot of these children. So I'm going to say it again. Get you some protection. And again, you hope that you will never need it, but don't be a fool. And don't be a mom martyr either, because you'll be a dead mom, all whilst you didn't want to protect yourself against your child. You are a human being. You're not just someone's mom. You're not their punching bag. You're not their therapist. You are not their ATM or emotional dumping ground. You are worthy of peace. You're worthy of love. You are worthy of respect and honor. And you're also worthy of being spoken to with kindness. You have the right to walk away and the right to protect yourself at all costs. So if nobody else has told you today, let me hold your hand when I say this. You don't deserve to be abused by your child. Let me say it again. You don't deserve to be abused by your child. A lot of times we take abuse for different reasons. Sometimes we feel guilty. Sometimes we take it because the father is no longer there and they don't have anyone else. So we accept it. Sometimes we take it because, hell, we have been abused in other relationships ourselves. And sometimes that shit is normal for us because it's what we have become accustomed to, whether it was us growing up, whether it was us in relationships, no matter the reason behind it. A lot of times moms accept abuse for diverse reasons. Stop tolerating abuse. That does not make you a good mom. You're not crazy, you're not dramatic, and you are not alone. If this episode has resonated with you, I want you to do a few things for me. Make sure you're following me on 𝐬𝐮𝐻𝐿 on Instagram and DM me with the word peace so I know this message reached you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share this episode with another mom. She may be suffering in silence too. We don't need to stay weak. We are working on our healing over here. And don't forget to grab my book, Reclaiming Your Identity, on my website, 𝐬𝐮𝐻𝐿.com, or on Amazon if you're a Prime member and want to get it quickly. Until next time, choose distance over disrespect. Protect your peace, reclaim your power, and reclaim your identity unapologetically. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so blessed to have a community where I can show up as my most authentic self because I don't know what else to be. Don't forget to favorite the show, leave a review, and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite streaming platforms to stay up to date on new episodes. Subscribe to my newsletter at momstruetea.com. Follow us on all socials at MUMSTRUETEA, and be sure to share and stay tuned for more thought-provoking topics and real talk on Mom's True Tea with Kendall Lasha. Until next time, remember, you need you just as much as anyone else, so stop playing about you, okay?